Care to join me for some pages? Let's dive in. Humans cannot be optimized. We have high performance everything: machinery, software, fuel, paint, insulation, shoes, roads, facials, machine washing, dogs and nappies, for fuck's sake. We even have high performance food. Yes, those chickens are training hard. Nothing can't be sold as high performance in some way or another. Sexy sells. In recent decades, the term has become synonymous with elite sports high performance programs, managers, and their boards of directors. The term high performance having made its way to the executive level. It is a wild west of high performance, with coaches and team experts roving its terrains. But what does it all mean? To understand why this term is at best unhelpful and potentially damaging, it is essential to first understand its rather unsexy etymological origins. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Hopefully, you close your eyes and take some notes if anything resides with you. The concept of high performance has economic and industrial roots. 19th and 20th century industrialists such as Frederick Taylor, Joseph Juran, and William Deming introduced the era of scientific management, efficiency, and productivity. These spawned new engineering models such as process optimization, enhanced efficiency, and organizational performance. Today, efficiency and productivity are underpinned by total quality management, continuous improvement, and human capital or resources, and of course, high performance organizations. It's a wank word bingo enthusiast wet dream of meaningless dribble. The measure here: profit and productivity. It's primitive. Humans are resources. It's in the name, which is to say they are an exploitable and expendable means of production through labor. Definitely in the past, I have felt this way when it comes to working in hospitality and how some of those employees are treated by their bosses or owners. Most readers would more likely connect the term high performance with car racing, aeronautics, or computing. Characterized by linear measurements, high performance implies a superior level of performance above an established measurable norm. Space exploration, deep sea diving, and automotive engineering are all examples of high performance combined with superior technical expertise, investment, and resourcing. Such domains are dominated by machines supporting, and in cases, dominating humans. No doubt, many would rid themselves of the human altogether given the opportunity. Isn't that a scary thought? I contend it is the wrong language. The metaphor is misapplied. Humans are not optimizable machines. The term human optimization degrades and reduces us to exploitable resources. The metaphor impoverishes and insults the beauty and complexity of the human condition. It is the very antithesis of flourishing and meaning. We are not manufactured. We are born of nature. Who hasn't heard something like, your body is like a car, it needs good fuel, or our brain processes like a computer? This reduces us to mere parts. To do this is disingenuous. To have a better understanding of ourselves, we must have a more holistic approach in the high performance setting. Our bodies and brains could not be further from operating like a car or a computer. These are linguistic simplifications to help us stay afloat on the ocean of our ignorance. Don't we just ride on an ocean of ignorance, though, to be honest? In this instance, what seems to be logical and rational actually works against us. More importantly, it works furtively in opposition to growing a flourishing young mind. But we can be better if we practice using naturalistic metaphors such as a tree, the ocean, or the changing seasons, rather than mechanistic ones. You might ask why any of this is important, and it's because of the profound role of language and metaphor in shaping how we grow and who we become. That specific part is so fundamental as the more and more I dive into this self-development, but mainly the psychological aspect and what's going on in our subconscious mind. Quite literally, the language that we choose to use shapes us, and not only how we continue to grow, but who we become in the process. Man, just think about the past. If you had positive self-talk, what was the result? If you had negative self-talk, what was the result? Deep. Our whole conceptual system is based and embodied in metaphor, in our most basic ability to stand up, sit down, move across, grasp ideas, north, east, west, south. Metaphor is essential to the production of knowledge and helps us make sense of experience. We neither speak nor think without completely relying on a metaphor to carry our intent. Metaphor highlights both the scope and limits of our language, and therefore our understanding. It is baked into us. Using mechanistic metaphor impoverishes our imaginative spirits. Damn. Using mechanistic metaphor impoverishes our imaginative spirit. And if we don't take control of our imaginative spirit, that child inside of us, that childlike imagination, naturally your life will be dull, your conversations will be even more dull, and realistically, your self-talk will not be that positive. It will be just ruminating on the same topics that keep you down where you don't want to be. That's powerful. Man, it is truly baked into us. Rather than expanding metaphor, making it more complex and richer, we reduce it increasingly. Compared to a mighty standing oak tree, an F1 car is a simple construction. It seems to me we are looking at ourselves through the wrong end of the telescope, diminishing us. Human nature must be considered in its wholeness and its context. To be sure, context is everything. Machines are lifeless, easily understandable by the bits and parts they are made of, and don't change their nature. The oak, a center of endless network of connotations which ramify through our physical and mental, personal and cultural experience of life, literature and art, has implicit meaning and value. Like a joke, magic trick, or a great piece of poetry, making it explicit spoils its essence, destroys its power, its beauty and truth. It reduces it to utility. It reduces it to utility. On the other hand, a car's power lies in its utility, predictable, linear, easily controlled, and entirely explicit. All qualities that don't get the joke spoil the trick, or discolor the poetry. You can switch a car off and come back years later to start it again. Life? Not quite so. A machine metaphor is easy and lazy. It allows euphemisms like efficiencies, meaning, profit, and that's not good. Metaphors are the decor of the mind that embellish and beautify our thoughts. Wouldn't you rather decorate young minds with running streams, green pastures, and tall forests? I tell you one thing, I definitely fucking would. Mechanistic metaphors promote imperative to grow young minds. Mechanistic metaphors promote limited thinking of a closed, known, linear, predictable structure, and closed-mindedness, profit and winning is the measure, and elevate the performance above the human. As a result, we have come to look at humans as optimizable, like train schedules, phone apps, and Excel spreadsheets. Humans cannot be optimized. Any attempts to do so are nothing more than perverse exploitations motivated by profit, production, or progress. This book is diving deep right now. This may seem trivial. It is not. It is fundamental and with heavy implications for humanity. How we attend to the world, that lens through which we see ourselves, others in the natural world, could not be more critical. For those who are stewards of young minds, it is even more important, like myself. I believe we must sow the fields of their minds and thinking with organismic metaphors which promote imagination, intuition, complexity, and creativity, and common sense. For these are the highest intellectual planes that one can roam. Alas, these ancient abilities are atrophying before our eyes. Metaphors that promote humans as resources with usefulness are lazy and remiss. They give rise to repulsive modern euphemisms, pretty words for ugly things like collateral damage, timber harvesting, or the comic wish fulfillment center. As George Orwell put in 1984, are largely the defense of the indefensible. But if thoughts corrupt language, language can also corrupt thought. A bad usage can spread by tradition and imitation, even among people who should and do know better. This might seem hard to get one's head around, but hard is good. If we want to continue to use titles such as elite and high performance, then we must live up to our claim in all quarters of human performance, including the quality of thinking and language and teaching. It is a moral consideration. Modern high-performance programs are anchored in the physical dimension. This makes sense, as the most advanced of these programs are in domains that rely on physical conditioning, such as sports and the military. However, there is a growing emphasis on the psychological dimension, for example, your mental health and skills. Even more recently, there's been an increased recognition that the social dimension, connection, sharing, and caring, is a significant performance enabler. Damn, do I agree with that. Man, that resonates on a whole nother level right now. Ooh, where were we? Where were we? There are more sophisticated approaches, and so there should be. The average elite high performance department is huge and well resourced. Strength and conditioning coaches, psychologists, medical staff, nutritionists, physiotherapists, player well being, and development staff. The list goes on. The management of these systems is improving too. The average manager must be part executive, part coach, and part scientist, not to mention part counselor, managing egos and arguments, for example, about whose fault injuries are. The high performance manager's job is to provide a framework to make sense of it all, to balance the athlete's independence and interdependence with their need for guidance, and to keep the operator in the spotlight. This can be difficult. As Will Greenberg mentioned, we are working with a moving target. However, there is a caution. Beyond the trapdoor of exceptionalism, this evolution will attract inertia creating bureaucracy. As profit, progress, and productivity become the priority. This tension is wonderfully captured by New York Jets Director of High Performance, Dr. Brad DeWeese, who is identifying the high performance manager as a conductor who promotes organizational harmony. Unfortunately, he goes on to revert to kind. Each phase of performance development to maximize the return on investment of each rostered player. DeWeese is not alone in prioritizing the language of bureaucracy and humans as resources. Even in warfighting, the bureaucracy, generals and politicians, demand results, such as body counts. Bureaucratization makes it more difficult to grow humans, to leave them better than we found them. It reduces humans to resources and has the potential to corrupt our intent and behavior. It imposes linear thinking on our apparently human-centered, complex systems. I believe it is up to us, whether we are coach, commander, or CEO at any level, or even in terms of our own personal program. We should aim to build not only fit, fast, and strong bodies and minds, but good human beings, citizens, parents, lovers, and community leaders. Happy chickens lay more eggs, right? At least the high performance chickens will. But we have been here before, as there has been high performance or rational preparation as far back as the ancient Greek Olympians and the Spartan agoges, whose regimes included physical, psychological, social, and philosophical dimensions. The good news is that these Stoic values, along with discussions about ethics, aesthetics, metaphysics, and epistemology, are arriving back in the language of high performance, but are not yet integrated in our actions. That was a quick 13 minutes into the book I'm reading right now, which is called The Fourth Pillar by Harry Moffat. It's definitely changing my way of thought, my speech, the way I process emotions in real time. And I think that's dialing back into a level of stoicism and just being in control of that aspect of you and aware of the vulnerability that it takes to get to that next level. But reading something like this is really aligning with the content I'm creating right now. And if you want to stick around, drop a comment down below if you want me to make more videos like this, and I'm happy to. If not, and this was your first time here, my name is Gareth. Thanks for sticking around this long. Click subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.